You are now watching Bleav. Do you believe?
What's up, everybody? Time for another episode of Bleav Me, which is, of course, brought to you by our proud sponsors over at BetOnline. Head on over to betonline.ag and use the promo code Bleav for your first time, one-time, 100% deposit match. That's BLEAV. Any deposit between $50 and $1,000 will be matched in full by our proud sponsors and partners over at BetOnline. Head on over to betonline.ag and let the games begin. All right, everybody, it's time for another episode of Bleav Me. I'm Joe Ceraulo, joined by two legends in their respective industries, as always, Brandon Lang, the career handicapper and real-life inspiration for Matthew McConaughey in the movie Two for the Money, and Kordell Stewart, the former All-American at the University of Colorado, former Pro Bowl quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Gents, let's look at how we did last week before we dive on in. Last week, you guys agreed on 3 games. The Packers -8, the Chiefs -7, both losers, but you made up for it with the Patriots -3 at home against Detroit. You disagreed on the other 3. Now, one of them we'll throw out. Chargers, Browns, it fluctuated between 1.5, 2.5, fell on 2. Forget that one for now. But Brandon, you won the other 2. You took the Cowboys +5.5. Kordell was loving the Rams in that one. Dallas won outright. You also had Kordell beat on Sunday Night Football. The Bengals and the Ravens. It was Baltimore -3. They won it by 2. It was a crazy, wild game. So, Brandon, you must be feeling yourself per usual.
Anytime you can take down the All-Pro. Anytime you can take down the All-Pro, you got to take the brother down. I'm going to give him another shot to get me this week because I guarantee you there are going to be some games we do not agree upon. You got the pro football player's opinion versus the handicapper's opinion. That's what this show is all about. Kordell, I wish you all the best this week. Wear to wear pink here in the month of October. My man, pots and pans. Let's get after it.
I love it. I love it. You guys both got pink on. I'm rocking some lavender on this fine October afternoon. I mean, great minds think alike, gentlemen. Kordell, we're going to start with you. Game 1 here. Give you a shot at redemption early on. The Baltimore Ravens, your man, you love them. Lamar Jackson, I love him too. They are 5-point favorites headed to my New York Giants. Now, you guys both faded the Giants last week, but the Giants are 3-0 against the spread as an underdog this year. Kordell, which side are you rolling with in this one?
I'll tell you what, I'm going with the Giants in this one. And the reason I say that is because this defense in the Baltimore Ravens is not as stout as they once have been. They used to be intimidating. They used to make you afraid to come in. And the reason I say that is because Saquon Barkley and this offense with the Giants is stellar. They're second in the National Football League when it comes to running the football. I think they're playing inspired football based on how their head coach's energy. Did you see him run off the field going through the tunnel? He was getting everybody crunked and everybody excited. It's not just about Lamar Jackson. It's about his team. I think this team and the Giants, with what they're doing on offense, that's technically the cowbell in my mind when it comes down to how physical, how hard, and how tough they play all the way to the last horn is blown. I'm going with this team right now in the Giants, who's pretty freaking good. Brandon, you go ahead.
Wow, right off the bat, I hate it when I agree with the All-Pro, but but the home team in this series is 5-0 against the number of the last 5 meetings. Ravens are 3-7 against the number of the last 10 versus the NFC East, including 0-5 against the number their last 5 away games versus the NFC East. This is pretty simple when you handicap the New York Giants. You go against them when they're a favorite. You take them as a dog. They are a feisty dog, and he showed it last week down 17-3 in London. You don't normally come back against Aaron Rodgers. They did in impressive fashion. The numbers say Giants. You can never go wrong with home dogs in the NFL, especially getting more than a field goal. I believe the All-Pros on the right side of the game. I tend to agree with him. The Giants plus the points are the way to go.
You know, last week I was leaning with the Giants +8. You guys talked me out of it. I took your advice. I died by your advice. I'm glad we're all on the same page this week. By the way, how big of a factor, Kordell, I want your take on this as a guy who played in the league. How big of a factor is Wink Martindale, the former Ravens D coordinator, knows Lamar inside and out, now being the Giants defensive coordinator? Is that a humongous advantage?
Well, big time, big time. When it comes down to the weaknesses of a player, you have to see it every day in practice. When it comes down to the strength of a player, which I think we all know, it comes down to what we've seen on television, but also what he's had the opportunity to see in practice. So when it comes down to where he likes to throw, where he likes to scramble, where he doesn't like to throw, where he doesn't like to scramble. We know his favorite target is who? The tight ends running down the middle of the field. You take those players away, go to the guys on the outside who we know aren't good receivers on the outside as we lose Hollywood Brown to the to the
Arizona Cardinals.
To the Cardinals. He's now stuck with throwing to the tight ends. I think they take that away from him. I think this Giants team win real big.
I love it. Brandon, we're going to start with you on the next game, sticking with some New York football that really doesn't play in New York. The Jets taking on the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay back home at Lambeau, 7-point favorites in this one. And their last 3 meetings over the past 12 years have actually all been pretty tight contests, all being settled by single digits. Green Bay -7 at home. Brandon, what do you think in this one?
Throw it out like a bag of garbage on garbage day. The last 3 meetings are not going to matter because the stat that your boy B. Lang has for the world today is one that's going to make you smile and go, wow. Now, a couple of weeks ago, after their week 1 loss to the Minnesota Vikings on the road, the Green Bay Packers came home to face the Chicago Bears on Sunday Night Football. And I noted on this show that the Green Bay Packers under head coach Matt LaFleur have lost 8 games in his coaching career. And in the game after a loss, he was a perfect 8-0 straight up, 8-0 against the spread, and they proceeded to go out and cover the number against the Bears, making it 9-0 straight up and against the spread. Well, here we are again. Mr. Matt LaFleur off a loss. And he's 9-0 straight up, 9-0 against the spread in regular season games, coming off a loss as head coach of the Packers. If you hear me say it once, you hear me say it a million times. Winners go with streaks. Losers go against them. I'm not about to go against the stat that is now 10-0 against the spread, straight up and against the spread after Sunday. Packers minus the points.
Ooh, Brandon getting cocky, chalking it up as a win already. Kordell, are you with Brandon? Do you think Green Bay wins this one by at least a full touchdown, or are you going to ride with the Mormon missile, Zach Wilson, going into Green Bay hunting some cougars in Wisconsin?
And I tell you what, Zach Wilson is playing some inspired ball. He's playing with a little swag too. But to Brandon's point, since 2018, when this team come off of a loss, they actually come back going stone crazy, winning 74% of their games. But you know what? I'm going against the grain, baby. I'm going with Zach. I'm going with Zach Wilson and the Jets. I mean, they have a passing offense that's ranked 9th in the National Football League, total offense of 11th overall. I like what I see in this Jets team. I saw what they did against my Steelers.
It ain't so, Joe.
I'm going with it. I tell you what,
it ain't so, Joe.
That secondary of the Jets has been really tenacious when it came to the ball. I've seen many times when balls have been tipped, when it comes down to getting the ball in the secondary, that defense really has played good. This Green Bay Packers team is not playing as good as people think they've been playing lately. So I think they fall off a little bit when it comes to winning this game after a loss that we've seen him do over since 2018. I'm going with the Jets with Zach Wilson going out there. What is he hunting out there in Green Bay and Wisconsin? What did you say, Joe?
Hunting cougars, baby. Come on, kids hanging out with the Real Housewives of Staten Island.
Joe, listen to me. Stay at the bar, bud. Don't let Kordell drag you into the champagne room here. Stay at the bar, Joe. Stay at the bar with Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. That's all I got to say, Joe. May the force be with you.
Brandon's coming from a place of wisdom and experience talking about that champagne room. Brandon, I think I'm going to go with you in the streak in this one. 9-0 under LaFleur, 14-6 in their last 20 after a loss against the spread. We know that they're a cover machine at Lambeau. You hit every nail on the head, Brandon. Kordell, look, just like Zach Wilson, I love an older woman every now and then myself, but at the same time, we're talking about football here. He could be my wingman. Aaron Rodgers will be my quarterback 10 times out of 10. Brandon, I'm with you. We've got another game in the NFC North. The Minnesota Vikings and the Miami Dolphins, actually another AFC East, NFC North matchup. The Dolphins just announced that Kansas State alum, third stringer, Skylar Thompson's going to be the guy, and the Vikings are only 3.5-point favorites against the Dolphins and their third stringer. Kordell, what do you think about this matchup? Minnesota's 4-1, but they've only covered once in their 5 games. Are you going to take them to win by 4 or more points in this one?
Yes, I will. I'm going with Dalvin Cook and his 4.6 yards per game when it comes to playing. He's going back home. I know he's a Florida State kid, but he's going back to the state of Florida. But let's look at what this team has done in the last 3 straight games in the last 5 minutes. They've been able to close out the deal. When you have Jefferson and all the other players you have on this team, whether it's Cook or whoever it may be, Cooper Kupp, excuse me. These guys are actually playing some really good football. I like Kirk Cousins. For some reason I do, because you're asking a young player in this quarterback to go and lead what? Waddle and also Tyreek Hill? I don't think he can get the football down the field. I know you're going to go with the home dog. I get what you're about to say, Brandon. I hear it. I smell it in the air. But I'm going with this team that's a veteran team that's trying to make a mark for themselves, getting a great win on the road for Dalvin Cook. Why not? Why not?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Who's the best team in the NFL right now?
Record-wise or appearance-wise?
Just appearance-wise. Who's the best
Buffalo
team?
Bills.
Okay. Who beat the Buffalo Bills at home?
Miami Dolphins with
Who beat them when Buffalo had the ball for 40 minutes to Miami's 20?
Hold on. Miami had Tua. Now they've got Skylar Thompson.
I'm talking about a defense that bent but didn't break. Okay. Out first down 31-13. Tua didn't do squat in that game. Listen to the stats. They had 198 yards total offense. Nice job, Tua. They had 13 first downs. Nice job, Tua. They got out possessioned 40 minutes to 20 minutes. Nice job, Tua. The Dolphin defense was on the field for almost 100 snaps. Nice job. And they figured out a way to win. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. The last time we saw Kirk Cousins on a road game was Monday night. How bad was he? How bad was he? He couldn't have fixed your computer if he worked for the Geek Scout at Best Buy. Okay? I would never trust Kirk Cousins on the road laying points against Louisiana Monroe, against Louisiana Lafayette, against UAB, or any other of the Sun Belt teams.
Got to bring the Fun Belt into this one, huh?
I am sorry, but Kirk Cousins laying points on the road equals loser. Give me the Dolphins as they find a way as a home dog in the heat of Miami, just like they found a way against the Buffalo Bills. Oh, we got the kid in the back of the classroom wants to say, okay,
Cordell,
go ahead with your little hand up.
What's the rebuttal, baby?
We talked about stats, right? So the Dolphins have the 5th best offense. That's when that offense was healthy with Tua in it. That's not without Tua. That's with Tua. But yet they have the 5th worst. They have the 5th worst passing defense in the National Football League. You have to go up against Jefferson and company, and also Dalvin Cook coming out of the backfield. You're asking for a tall task for a younger quarterback to come in the game, and also this defense to do what they were doing. You got to remember, when that team played against the Buffalo Bills, they had what? They played over 90 snaps at least, and they sat on the sideline probably for, 60% of the time? That's not going to happen in this game. They're going to have to dial up some really special plays to beat this Minnesota Vikings team. I think that's revved up and ready to go out and play against.
You remember Chris Tucker in Rush Hour? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
you didn't help him on this. You didn't help him on this,
coming out of my mouth. They had no right beating Buffalo, yet they figured out a way to do it, and they'll have no right beating Minnesota. And yet on Sunday afternoon, you're going to be sitting in your man cave going, that damn B-Lang, they figured out another way to beat Minnesota. Joe, all yours.
There's your patented Brandon Lang movie reference of the episode. Look, Cordell's going to be right sooner or later, Brandon. He's going to beat you on a game you disagree on sooner or later. I think it's this one. This is the Kirk Cousins. You referenced the Monday night game, Brandon. I'm using that stat against you. Kirk Cousins is one of the worst primetime performers of our generation, maybe of my generation, I should say. In a Sunday, 1:00 matinee game, going up against Skylar Thompson. I think this is the game that Kirk Cousins performs in. Cordell, I'm with you 100% on this one. But we've got 2 more games to get to, including the game of the week, which we'll get to a little later on. Let's start, though, with Sunday night football. The Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, 2 teams that are a combined 9-1, facing off in Philly. Brandon, going to start with you here.
Pretty simple. Sometimes you look at a game and it's really simple. This one is really simple. Now, it's the Sunday night game. So you've bet your 1:00 games. You've bet your 4:00 games. You're waiting for that last 4:00 game that's going down to the wire, and then that game ends, and you got about 20 minutes still to put in your bet for the Sunday night game. Yep. I want you to wait. I want you to chill. Just like Samuel Jackson said in Pulp Fiction, tell her to chill, honey bunny. Tell her to chill. Tell that to chill. Just chill. And when it's announced, it's either Cooper Rush or Dak Prescott. Who you're going to bet in this game is pretty simple. This may sound crazy, but trust me. If Cooper Rush is starting at quarterback, you take the guy that's 5-0 straight up and against the spread in his career as a starter in the NFL. If Dak is announced as the starter, coming off the bench, rusty on the road in that environment, as crazy as it sounds, I will take the Philadelphia Eagles because I don't think Dak can come in this situation against this team on a Sunday night game on national TV and just step in like he hadn't missed a beat. I'm anxious to hear the quarterback's opinion of it. But for me, Dak plays, bet Philly. Cooper Rush plays, ride the momentum of the Dallas Cowboys.
Kordell, I can't believe what I'm hearing. What are your thoughts on this? Brandon saying if Cooper Rush is the guy, you bet Dallas, and if Dak's the guy, you fade them. I need your thoughts here, Kordell. The Eagles are 5-point favorites in this one, man. What do you think?
This type of a game always is a battle-tested game in the trenches for sure. We know since 2019, Dallas is a league best at 14-6, winning 70% of their games within the divisional games, while Philly is just 7-11, which is 39% when it comes down to winning. But this is a different Philadelphia team. I just think what they do defensively, they are arguably the best in the National Football League, ranked 4th, and they're 2nd offensively when it comes to being ranked. Jalen Hurts has truly come into the National Football League this season and has put his stamp on the National Football League in conversations of being the MVP in the National Football League because of how tough he's been, how steady he's been. I like Cooper Rush the way he's been playing. I think he's been doing a phenomenal job because the recipe is a phenomenal recipe, right? It's one that goes on the road and allows you to play some really good football, to play controlled football. Defense playing extremely well. The running game is adequate. Cooper Rush, they're not asking him to do every single thing. So that makes you wonder what the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do. Are they going to try to play wide open or are they going to play conservative? I'm going with the home team in this one. I'm going with Philadelphia. I like what they've been able to do, not particularly in the first half, but mainly how they finish games, and they finish extremely strong. I think there's going to be too much pressure on Cooper Rush. If they bring in Dak Prescott, that serves them even better. So either way the cut go, I think they win by more than 5. And I think they obviously winning by more than 5 means they win the game. But I'm going with this Philadelphia Eagles football team that's really playing really, really good football right now. I don't think Cooper Rush, if he starts, or even Dak Prescott starts, have enough to beat him.
You better hope that pass rush doesn't put a little pressure on Jalen Hurts. He's going to see some pressure in this game that my young blood ain't seen all season long. They going to get after him just like they got after every other quarterback they have faced. Get off Cooper and Dak. Like I said, that's going to make a difference. But you watch that Dallas defense have a little something to say. The Arizona Cardinals got after Jalen Hurts last week. He didn't have that great of a game. You watch Dallas get that going. Joey?
On the road. That was on the road.
So Brandon, and that's a good point. Lincoln Financial, it's a different animal, Kordell. But Brandon, to your point, the Cardinals got after Jalen Hurts. There's one guy who I didn't hear either of you mention. It's actually why I disagree with both of you here. Micah Parsons. If any linebacker in this National Football League can be an effective spy on Jalen Hurts, it's Micah Parsons. So Kordell, you're on the Eagles.
Hey, why are you roping me in? You disagree with both.
Well, because you're playing the flip-flop game, because you're covering your rear end. You're like, oh, Cooper Rush.
No, we don't know. Right now, as we tape this, who the quarterback is. We don't know.
But we do know who they have on defense. And I think Dallas plus 5 is the play because of that defense.
Right, but that goes without saying. I've been on Dallas every week on this show. You know I'm a fan of their defense, and I've talked about their defense. So don't even go there. I'm saying their defense is going to do what their defense has done all year long. The only way they lose this game and lose big is turnovers. Yeah. That's the only way. And Cooper Rush does not turn the ball over. Dak does. I trust Cooper more than Dak. You're on Dallas, obviously. I know where you're going, so close it out, my brother.
And let's close it out with the game of the week, gents. I'm on Dallas there. It's clear as day. But we've got the Buffalo Bills, the best team in football, heading to Arrowhead to take on probably the second best team in football, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're both 4-1. Both could easily be 5-0. Both had some bad breaks the same week a couple weeks ago. And for the first time in his career, Patrick Mahomes, as Kordell would say, is a home dog. Kordell, a home dog. Are you going to roll with Mahomes in this one, or do the Bills go in there and win it by 3 or more?
The thing I like about what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing with Patrick Mahomes is he's not 100% relying on Tyreek Hill. He's distributing the ball. I think I saw an interview where he spoke about, you know what? I need to stick to my reads. I need to be patient. I need to find a guy. I don't think you're going to see those errands, those throws that are just made in the air because the guy has so much speed. I think this Buffalo Bills team, because of their injuries, cost them on the road. These two teams know what this game means to them. this is pretty much the bragging rights when it comes down to the AFC. I think what we saw Patrick Mahomes do this past week and the attitude in which he played with and the confidence and the swag that he has so far, I think that's enough to beat this Buffalo Bills team. They know how inept they are in the secondary, for sure, the Buffalo Bills. Even though their team is still a really good overall football team. I just think right now, Patrick Mahomes, when he's on, it's hard to stop him. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes, my guy. I'm going with him.
It's a great point, Kordell. That secondary is definitely bruised and battered. Brandon, who you rolling with?
It's not going to get any easier than what I'm about to say. There's no other way to break down the game. There's nothing else to talk about this game. You don't have to bring up players and injuries. You ain't got to bring one coach who ain't missed a meal since Christ came back 2,000 years ago. And you got another coach.
Oh, cut it out.
Another guy that can't coach his way out of a paper bag in pressure situations. That don't matter. Nothing matters. Here's what matters. You mentioned it's the first time Patrick Mahomes has been a home dog. I'll go you one better. Patrick Mahomes has been an underdog 9 times in his career. And Patrick Mahomes is 9-0 against the spread. You give the boy points, he makes you money. You give him points, it's free money. It's like Tom Brady back in the day when he was a dog, when he was like 24, 25, 26, and not 44, 45, 46. Patrick Mahomes getting points equals money. 9-0. Let's make it 10-0. Patrick Mahomes as a dog.
I'm shocked I'm doing this twice in one episode, but you guys left off one major point, and it's that the Kansas City defense kind of stinks. I know Patrick Mahomes is great. Josh Allen's almost just as good.
Well, listen,
come on,
bet
guys.
the over. Bet the over.
Bet the over.
The over is a gift, a lock, a Christmas present come early. But
That's right.
But we know Joey's leaning toward Buffalo. Bring it home, Joey. Tell us you like the Bills.
He said New York.
I was waiting for someone to talk about defenses here. You got the 2nd-ranked defense in Buffalo, 24th-ranked defense in Kansas City. I love you guys both. Maybe I'll look like an idiot, and there's a reason I'm here with a pro football player and a pro handicapper, and I'm the jamoke in the middle. But until then, I'm rolling with the Buffalo Bills in this one, -2.5 in Arrowhead. They went there last year. They won 38-20, and it wasn't as close as that 18-point margin of victory would have indicated. The Bills are better this year, especially on defense, especially with the pass rush. Guys, that does it for another episode of Bleav Me. I'm Joe Ceraulo. That's Kordell Stewart. That's Brandon Lang. We'll see you next week.